Welcome to all my travelers out there. I am your host, Darren Beckett, and this is the Global Travel Podcast. For those who do not know my travel resume, I've been to 13 states, 15 countries on 5 different continents, but it is not about me. Here, we are giving you quality travel tips, insights, and recommendations on all the best destinations for ideas to enjoy your vacations. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We are all clear for takeoff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we reach our destination, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and do me a favor. If you can go in the comment section below, type in the words, "I got my ticket." And at the end of the show, I'm going to come by, I'm going to respond to see how your experience went with us. All right. So with that being said, on today's episode, we are taking a trip to Ghana. So make sure you got your passports, your earphones, and something to snack on. We have a very special guest here with us today. But before I introduce her, let me just say this. Now, this young lady right here has her own YouTube channel when it comes to travel. She's been across the world. As a matter of fact, she's been to 19 states and 44 countries. So if Ghana's on your list, you want to pay attention. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Miss Lisa Gay Shakespeare. So how you doing today, Lisa?
Hey, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Let's jump right into it. I'm excited.
Definitely. Yep. Got a flight to catch. We heading to Ghana. So before we hop on
Yes.
this flight, let's talk a little bit about who you are, as far as like what you do for work, hobbies, where you live, all
Okay.
that good stuff.
All right, sure. So I am Lisa. You just said that. So I'm originally from Jamaica, and I lived in the US for about 16 years. I moved there when I was a teenager. So I kind of like to say I grew up half in Jamaica and I grew up half in the US. And I love travel. I love everything travel related. I actually moved back home to Jamaica recently, and I know living Clarendon, and I am loving life back on the island. I'm like, why did I leave again? When you come back home and you're
Great
rediscovering your
question.
island, I'm like, why on earth did I leave? But yeah, so I'm
Hmm.
currently living back home. I have my own agency that I launched recently, Shakespeare Agency, where I do social media marketing for small businesses, and I also promote travel and tourism here on the island. So, I work with people who want to come to visit Jamaica, help them plan their travel itineraries, work with small boutique hotels to promote them to, people who don't know about certain parts of the island. I like to find, the hidden gems, off beaten path adventures, and just, tell people about different parts of the island that they don't know about, because Jamaica is like the third largest island in the Caribbean. And if you ask someone, a lot of people just mainly know about like the touristy spots like Negril and Ocho Rios and Montego Bay. They don't know about Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth, or they don't know about Portland, Trelawney, all these other parts of the island that's absolutely gorgeous. And you wouldn't even think, like Jamaica has these things. So that's kind of like my goal with the travel part of my agency. Um, and then I also do dance fitness, and it's called Reggae Fit. So
Yeah,
it's like a
nice.
dance fitness workout. Yup, an hour workout. You come and we bust up a sweat and, work on the core, work the legs, the abs, everything. It's a whole full body workout. So yeah, those are kind of like all the things that fall under my agency, and that's what I'm doing now that I'm back home. I do miss travel. I've been home now, because of all the things going on for over 6 months. I haven't been on a plane, and that's weird. Super weird.
Yep, I know. I know.
um, yeah, but I mean, it's good though, because I'm exploring my island again. Like I said, it's giving me a chance to introduce myself to Jamaica and others as well. So yeah, not
Definitely,
really
definitely.
complaining that
So,
much, but I do miss international travel.
I bet. Same here. It's been a while for me too. So ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to go to Jamaica, we got the plug right here. She can show you all the hidden gems of Jamaica. I'm sure we all know about the Montego Bay, like she mentioned, and the grills and Otros Rios. So if you want to do something, a little different than what the tourist folks do. It's all right. Do something with the locals, and she can show you all the hot spots of where to eat, with get the real local foods and whatnot in Jamaica. So she has her own YouTube
Mm.
channel, website, and all that good stuff. So I will drop it in this chat on the description box or what have you, so you guys can have
Perfect.
access to her and ask any more questions about that. So yeah, definitely, that's nice. So matter of fact, I'm gonna be hitting you up too, actually. So cool.
Love it. Whenever you're ready.
Yes, man. Yeah, because I've been to the tourist parts of Jamaica, so now I want to do the where the locals really stay, like the different places that you mentioned. So definitely,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. And then now, let's go ahead and hop on this plane and get to a state that you visited. What state would you recommend folks to go to in the United States? What would you recommend?
Well, I'm biased. I used to live in Florida.
There you go.
So I gotta plug Florida. I lived in Florida for the whole 16 years that I was in the US. I first lived in Tampa, Florida. That's where I went to school. I went to the University of Tampa and I was there for about 5 years. And man, Tampa is like really cool. It's a laid back city. It's not, fast paced or anything. It's very family oriented. There's a lot of like theme parks. So you can go to Busch Gardens. Orlando is
Mhm,
like literally 40, 45 minutes away. So if you're into Disney, of
mhm,
course, Disney's in Orlando, which is right there.
mhm,
But Tampa also has, great beaches. Well, not in Tampa per se, but like another 45 minutes, you can go to Clearwater Beach, which is beautiful. St. Pete Beach is awesome too. If you're into parties, which I mean, when I was in college, hello, that's what we
That's what
did.
you do. Yep.
Um, Ybor City is dope, and Ybor City is kind of like a strip of bars and restaurants and clubs, and you literally just go hopping from place to place when you're in Ybor, and that's pretty cool. Downtown Tampa, that's kind of like the financial district, but you can find some really cool restaurants there. When I
Mhm.
was there, I don't know if it's there anymore, but I think it might be. And there's another location, but there's this really cool Jamaican restaurant down there called Jerk Hut, and I was obsessed with it because I was just coming from Jamaica, I'm fresh off the plane, and now I don't know nobody. So when I found this little Jamaican restaurant, I was like, yes, I can get my jerk chicken, my jerk pork, my rice and peas, and all these things that I wouldn't get on campus at the university because I lived in a dorm. We don't have kitchen, so yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. So I love Tampa just for that purposes, and then of course there's Miami. So when I left Tampa, I moved to Miami to do grad school. That's where I did my master's, and I lived in Miami for like, I would say, what, that's around, no, 7 years or 8 years.
Mhm. Mhm.
So Miami's like my second home. And
Yeah.
of course, everybody knows Miami. It's Miami. It's fast paced. It's fun. It's flashy. It's loud. It's chill. It's the beach. Um, One of my favorite spots that I will tell you to visit if you go to Miami is a place called Wynwood. Wynwood is like so laid back and just like the vibe is just chill. It's not You're gonna get authenticity in Wynwood. It's like the art district of Miami. So you walk through
Mhm.
Wynwood and you're seeing graffiti everywhere. There's like dope paintings on the walls. There's actually a spot in there called Wynwood Walls where you walk through and
Mhm.
it's just different artwork on the wall all the way through. And it's just like you're walking through an outdoor museum. It's so refreshing. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it there.
Nice.
And it's one of those places where you don't have to dress up. Because you think Miami, it's like really flashy, especially if you go to South Beach.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, I don't hate South Beach. I really don't. But it's just not for me, man. I'm not that kind of, all super dressy. And if you go into the to party there, you got to be in your heels and dress it. Like it's just too much. It's just too much. And the flashy
Mhm.
cars and oh, I can't. So if I'm telling someone to come to Miami, I'm like, yeah, you can go to South Beach, you can check it out, but do some other things. So I like to recommend Wynwood. And then there's also this cool little place called Vizcaya, which is like a museum
Mhm.
and gardens, and it's also outdoor. You can walk through. It's a beautiful garden. Like people get married there. It's the
Mm.
botanical part of it is just gorgeous. It's on the water. It's really pretty. It's in Coral Gables area somewhere there. So I think that's pretty cool too for people to check out. There's also a lighthouse. Oh, what is it called? Ooh, what is the name of that lighthouse? I'm gonna come back to it. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there's a really nice lighthouse that you can, it's on the beach as well, and you can climb up to the top and just kind of like overlook the ocean. It's pretty cool. And also it's in a park. If you're like, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to have a picnic, gonna go bike riding or just go to the beach, that's something else to do. Bill
Mm-hmm.
Bag State Park, that's the name of it. I
There you
actually
go.
have a YouTube video. I actually have a YouTube video that tells you like the top 5 things I think to do in Miami. That just popped back in my head because I had entered this
Bingo.
competition back in the day, and I had to create like a video on my city, and I took people on a tour throughout Miami. So yeah, you'll see, and you'll see these things that I'm mentioning now that I think about it. I think I also went to Little Havana, which is like if you like
Mm-hmm.
Cuban food, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
have to go to
Mm-hmm.
Little Havana. You get the most authentic Cuban food there. And I think they spoiled me because when I went to Cuba, the food wasn't really that great. So I don't know if I'm just used to Miami Cuban food and true Cuban food.
Wow.
I don't know. But honestly, though, I've heard not, it wasn't just me. I've heard from other people that Cuban food in Cuba isn't really the best. So I don't know. But in
I've
Miami, it
heard that
is.
too.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
go to Little
Mm-hmm.
Havana as well. They also have like a domino park in Little Havana where you see all the little old Cuban men playing dominoes, and they're so friendly. They'll tell you to come join them. I mean, you know what dominoes are, right?
Yep.
The
Yep. Of
okay,
course.
the game.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, just check it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Got you.
I mean, what else? Miami. There's so much. There's so much. There's Bayside, which is close to downtown, which is another spot you can go to different restaurants and there's like it's on the water, so you can jump in like a little speedboat and go,
Mm-hmm.
take a tour of all the celebrity houses that are down in that area. It's cool. It's cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um what is it called? Star Island. Yeah, Star Island is where all of those celebrities live and the boats just drive by. You can't go on the actual island itself, but
Right. Right.
you can drive by and see that. Um what else is in Miami? And of course, the beach. Like everybody goes to Miami for the sun and the weather and just, hanging out on the beach. One of my favorite beaches is Hollywood Beach. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
again, it's more laid back, it's chill, it's not super crowded. The water is, really nice and it's not rough. I mean, none of the beaches in Miami are rough anyways. So yeah.
Right. Right.
Fort Lauderdale Beach is good too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a lot. It's a lot to do in Florida. I'm sure y'all know all the listeners out there. I mean, it's a wealth of things you could do in Florida. Whether it's going to the
For sure.
beach, botanical gardens, museums, lighthouse, playing dominoes with a little old Cuban man. I think that's something I would do.
Yes.
I think that's something I think I have to put on my bucket list because I like dominoes myself. So I'm gonna have to play with. But they play a little different. I was in Puerto Rico, and they play dominoes a little different
Yeah.
than Americans. I think. I think it's a Caribbean thing, maybe, but I don't know.
Oh,
But
really?
anyways,
Huh.
yeah, I
I
think
would,
so.
I would,
I think so.
I followed, like I played with them and it was similar, but maybe it's a Caribbean thing, like you said, because I mean, we played dominoes here in Jamaica and it was, it was, the same way. So yeah. But them
Did you
little
play
old men,
dominoes?
man.
Did you play dominoes here in Florida while you was in Florida as well?
Yeah, you mean in Miami?
Yeah, Miami, you play dominoes out there? That's where you play
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. When I'm with my friends, we have a set. We play, we hang out, we play dominoes. We play this
mm,
other game. You probably won't know this one. It's called Ludo. Have you ever heard of Ludo? We
I
call it
have not.
Ludi, but so it's a board game, and
Uh-huh.
it oh man, how do I describe that? It's a board game, and it's divided into 4 sections. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like in each corner, it's a home base, and you can
Mm-hmm.
call it whatever. Let's say you divide the people like to name them like different things. So it could be countries. So this country is Jamaica. Then you have the U.S. and Ghana and Bahamas. So you have four
Mm-hmm.
people, and you all have a home base, and you have 4 tokens, and you roll the dice, and to
Mm-hmm.
start the game you have to have at least a 6.
Mm-hmm.
So if you roll the dice in 6, you can born, like you can put your token on the board and you move however many spaces, and you have to get to the middle of the board. And when you get all of your tokens in the middle and you get them home, then that you're the winner. But if you can get killed along the way, someone lands on your token and all these things. It's really fun. It's a cool board game. You should look it up. It's really popular in the Caribbean, or at least in Jamaica. So I play a lot of
What
that
is it called
too.
again?
It's called Ludo,
Ludo.
Ludo, but
Okay.
we call it Ludi because we
Okay.
talk different.
Ludo. Okay. Ludo. So if y'all folks are in like that's something, yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to look into that Ludo. So that
I
sounds
feel like I
interesting.
need to Google if that's how you really
Yeah.
spell it.
De-
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah,
let's go
Ludo
ahead and
board
head
game.
to another country, not a country, but another state. Florida was fun. We already know what Florida's about, so that was fun. Now let's go to a
Yeah.
state that's a little less popular that you would recommend.
So yes, I actually was blown away by Arizona. I
Mm.
went there, I think in February of not this year, but last year. Yes, for my birthday. And I was just, Arizona is a state that people sleep on because
Mm-hmm.
it's so beautiful. I
Yep.
didn't even feel like, and I don't want to say that I wasn't in the US, but I didn't feel like I was in the US. Like,
Yeah.
man, first of all, um, I went to Monument Valley and
Mm-hmm.
it was like I felt like I was way back in the days, like in an old Western movie, because the monuments are just so freaking cool. It just like
Mhm.
it blew my mind because you can drive, you don't really walk through it. I mean, you can stop and take photos and stuff, but it's a place that you drive through. So
Mhm.
you're it's all this like dirt red road, and then
Mhm.
these huge monuments just like in different shapes and forms and sizes, and it's just cool. I loved that. I loved seeing that. I went to I think it's Bryce Canyon. Is that what it's called? I hope I'm saying that right. Which is another kind of like, a canyon, kind of like the Grand Canyon. I went to the Grand Canyon as well, which
Mhm.
that's just it's just breathtaking, the Grand Canyon. I went when it was cold though. I don't like cold weather, so I was freezing my ass off.
Yeah.
It was freezing. But Grand Canyon National Park is beautiful, Monument Valley. Where else did I go? I wanted to go to Antelope Canyon, which is that one that looks like it's all in waves and you can go in between the rocks, and but I didn't get to go because you have it's hard to get into. You have to get a ticket, and like a
Mhm.
nominated, like a lottery type thing, is really hard to get into. But I mean,
Oh,
I've never been, but I want to go and I would recommend that out there. But their
okay.
national parks are dope to go hiking. um you can you climb all these different mountains, and they have rivers and waterfalls. It's just the nature in Arizona is just, it's dope. It's a beautiful
Mhm.
state to explore. I haven't explored all of it, and if I was to choose to go back to the US to visit, that's one of the states that I would go to, because
Mhm.
it's just so beautiful. I can't talk about it enough. Like, yeah, definitely go there. Oh, and I think the other have you ever heard of Horseshoe Bend? I think that's there too, which I haven't seen in person, but
Okay.
I've seen so many photos of it. You've seen Horseshoe Bend. You've
I've,
probably seen it.
I
It's
have,
like
yeah.
it's yeah, it's like this it's like a horseshoe literally, and
Yeah.
then the river is
Uh-huh.
running through it, and yeah. So I'm saying there's just so many things to do there. Like Arizona, if you're into nature, if you're into outdoors, if you're into
Mhm.
hiking and just, all of that, then I would definitely say, yeah, you want to go there because I absolutely loved it.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely. That's on my bucket list. I passed through Phoenix, but didn't really experience it the way I would like. So if you folks are
Nah,
interested
man, you gotta go
in, yeah,
back.
yeah, right. I am. So if you folks are interested in nature, hiking, go to some monuments, and of course the Grand Canyon's there. So, and you probably want to go, maybe not in
Hmm.
the summertime because the summer is hella hot and the wintertime is hella cold. So maybe spring or fall, it may be a good time to
Spring or
go.
fall.
It depending on
Yeah,
your taste. Yeah. So
yeah,
let's go ahead and cross the
yeah.
pond. What country? We have a little ways before we get to Ghana, but what other
Uh-huh.
country would you recommend folks to go to?
Brazil.
Mm.
So, yes, I was in Brazil this past February before everything hit with this
Mhm.
pandemic.
Mhm.
Literally, I was there in February and it was for Carnival. And man, Brazil is just on a whole other level, let me tell you. It was
Yeah.
insane. It was just so incredible. And so for carnival, because I'm from the islands, and
Hmm.
I love carnivals. So I'll say this: Brazil Carnival is different. It's something that you go and you watch. It's something that you have to see at least once in your lifetime, because it's just such a show. It's a production. Like
Uh-huh.
it's not. It's like, I don't know if you're. Do you have Caribbean background? I don't know if you have Caribbean background or not, or if
I,
you're used
I
to
I
carnivals. No,
I
you don't.
don't, but I've been to Caribbean, place, but not far as like in my blood. I don't know, not that I know of, but I've been to different places Caribbean.
Okay. All right. So in when you're in the Caribbean and you go to Carnival, you dress up in the costume. I mean, I don't consider yourself really going to Carnival unless you participate. And you dress up in the costume and you're on the road and you're doing mass and you're marching in the parade, and you're dancing to music and all of that. Like, you're actually in it. But what I didn't know is that in Brazil you don't do that. It's literally, I mean, I guess you can, but it's you got to plan it out way in advance, and it's a lot of things. But it's mostly for the locals. And you go
Hmm.
to a stadium and you
Hmm.
sit in the audience and you watch the parade. And but
Hmm.
it's such a production. Like, I swear, it was mind-boggling. Like, they have these huge floats, and the floats are all decorated with different colors. And then you have the women dancing in the samba. They have heels on, and we don't wear heels in the Caribbean when you're doing carnival, because you're just marching on the road. Like, but these women are in their heels, and
Hmm.
they're going all night long. And I don't know, man. The costumes are just extravagant. The colors, the music. It's what is it called? Fish. Man, I can't remember the name of the music, but it's you can't miss it when you go to Brazil. But it's an
Hmm.
experience to see. So the carnival itself, it's like 1 to 2 days, and you can go and you watch it. But leading up to Carnival is the real party, and that's when you go to all the different blocos, and they're called blocos because these are the street parties where you go and you just join it, and you can just you can be in the parade, and you can dance with the locals, and then you dress up, you wear like whatever it is that you want to wear. Tutus
Hmm.
are a big thing for Carnival. Even the men wear tutus, and I was
Oh.
just like, wait, what? But it's so funny because it's like their cultural thing to do, and you
Right.
express yourself. You can wear fishnets and things on your head. Like, I have all
Yeah.
these pictures from Brazil, and the blocos, they literally go all day, all night, all day, all night. Like, you can go back to
Mhm.
back to back to back to back, just from one block to the next to the next to the next, from like,
Wow.
like I said, from starting in the evening at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're still going, and you're like, I need to go home. On the way you're going home, you see another one, and you stop at that one, and you're like, damn it, I need to go home. And before you know it, it's 4 o'clock, and you're like, what the hell? I've been up for more than 24 hours. This is insane. I
Mm.
don't know how they do it. It's crazy.
Mhm.
It's crazy, but it's fun. And then, of course, like, you have the cultural things to do. Christ the Redeemer. Hello, you
Mhm.
cannot not go to Brazil and not go there. It's
Mhm.
ginormous. I
Mhm.
was like, when I was there, like, the whole time, like, it's huge.
Wow.
And it's cool to get to, because you have to take like these, you have to walk up these stairs. That's just breathtaking. The
Mhm.
view, it gets really crowded though. And I
Yeah.
personally think no matter how early you go, because we went super early and there were already lines.
Uh,
So just know that
mhm.
it's gonna be crowded. But it's dope.
Yeah.
It's really dope, and I loved that. I loved that as well. What else? Oh, there's a really nice city called Paraty,
Mhm.
which is Paraty, and
Mhm.
it's about 3 hours from Rio, and it's the
Okay.
cutest little town. All the streets like cobblestone streets,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and it just reminds me of like the olden days. The people are friendly. There's this little cute little restaurants, and it's a cute, quaint town. I think it's an experience to have if you go out there. You can go shopping. They have nice beaches out there as well. Paraty. I would suggest you check that out too if you go to Brazil.
Mhm.
But of course, in Rio itself, because I was in Rio most of the time, you can go to Copacabana Beach. and you'll just always find locals. I think when I went, it was like a really festive time, so there's just always something going on. Always people are always in the streets, people are dancing on the beach. I even ended up doing like one of my reggae fit workout sessions when I was there, and I had a
Yeah.
bunch of locals come join in and work out with me.
Yeah.
I mean, people just, they'll just grab you and start dancing with you and spinning you around. But I felt like I was a pro at salsa by the time I was by the
That's
time that
tight.
I left. But I mean, I really wasn't. I was far, far, far from that. But yeah, Brazil is cool. Brazil is cool. I loved it.
Man,
Uh,
sound
what
like
else
that's
is there to
turn
tell you
up.
about
Sound like
Brazil?
that is real turned up.
Huh?
That's something because Brazil is
It
definitely on
is.
my bucket list. It's something I definitely want to go myself. I heard about it. I heard it's a good nightlife if you're into that type of stuff, and of course the beaches are
Yes.
beautiful. And then I hear other things as
Yeah.
well. So now
Oh, in Brazil too. Hold on. They have it's called the wait, let me see if I can find it. It's like the slum, but they have a word for it.
Hmm.
The favelas. Yes, the favelas. So you have to go do a tour in the favelas. And people say, oh, you don't want to do that because it's kind of scary and then they'll rob you and all of these things. But it's really not, unless you're going at like 10 o'clock midnight. Like there's places here in Jamaica that you just don't go to at that hour.
Right.
But in the favelas, it's really where you also get a lot of the deep culture, the rich history and the culture. And you can do a tour, a walking tour, and you see like the different
Mm.
shops and the local food stores and the local restaurants, and people getting their hair cut and people riding on their bikes. And it's kind of like the slums, and it's interesting how it's set up, because you can they're like zinc houses, and just like it's pretty poor, but the people that live there are just so rich in their history and their culture. You feel like you just feel, you don't even feel like you're really in the slums. So I think that's a really cool part of it to experience, is to do like a favela walking tour as well.
Not
So
what.
yeah.
Beautiful. So, ladies and gentlemen, Brazil, if you want to turn up, go to I don't even how you pronounce it again. For what?
Favelas, the
A
favela,
favela.
favela.
Go to that
Yeah,
little. They call it. It's another word for the slums, but it don't feel like the slums because the folks are rich in culture and history and family. It's about La Familia, and then that's a
yeah,
cool little
man.
town. And then of course you got the Christ statue as well that you should definitely take a look at and experience. So let's go ahead. We got
Yes,
a little bit of ways before we get to Ghana, almost there. But let's go to another
sure.
country on our way. Let's go to one more country that you would recommend folks to go to.
Colombia.
Colombia.
Colombia. Oh my gosh. Colombia is one of my favorite countries to visit. So I went to Colombia, to Cartagena. And
Mm,
again, it's another, man. I feel like everywhere has rich history, rich culture, but the food in Colombia,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't
Yep.
even express it. I can't even express it, man.
Yeah.
Colombian food is off the chain. I never, not one time had bad food in Colombia. Every single
Mm,
where that I went, whether it was street food, whether it was in a
mm-hmm.
restaurant, whether it was in like a little crappy restaurant, because I like trying like
Mhm.
super local stuff, and I like
Yep.
the finer things too. I like fancy, so all of
Right.
that. It was amazing, and man, I took a little boat tour out to the Rosario Islands. And
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much where you can go island hopping to different islands out there. And I had in one of those on one of those islands, I had like seafood, but we were out in the water, and there's like tables. So it's a beach.
Mm-hmm.
You take the boat out and you go to the island. Like, let's say I forgot the name of the island, but whatever the island's called, you get there, you pull up on your boat, and then you get out into the water. It's like a beach, but there's tables in the beach, right?
Wow.
And you tell, they come out to you and they ask you what you want, and they brought like lobster and all fish and plantains and oysters, and just like a
Mm-hmm.
whole seafood platter, which, oh my gosh, it was like some of the best seafood I ever had,
Yep.
hands down. Like shrimp, and they had rice, and of course they bring you like the jelly coconut, which is the fresh water. And If you guys go on my Instagram and just click my Colombia highlights, you'll see it. It's beautiful. It's a day trip to the Rosario Islands. But there's that one island though that's like the party island. What's the name? Cholon.
Mm,
That's the name of it. Cholon.
mm,
Cholon. Go to
mm.
Cholon. And that's where
Cholon.
they serve you the food out in the middle of not in the middle of the ocean, but like in the they have huts set up,
Mhm.
and they bring out, lobster and fried fish, and just you just eat to your heart's desire. And then there's the boats, all the boats they dock. So technically you can kind of like go from boat to boat and meet different people, and each boat is playing their own music, so you can
Mhm.
party with them. And on the island itself, there's like different bars, so you can go and get like a drink in like, like pineapples, or in like a jelly coconut, or
Yeah.
man, you making me want to travel.
I
I
know,
can't.
right? I know. I'm over here, yeah, putting salt in the wound.
Gosh, these
Putting salt in the
memories.
wound. Yeah, but you know what?
And
What? Because
Playa,
I was in Cartagena too.
uh,
Um, did you get a chance to go to any other cities in Colombia, like Bogota, Medellin, or just?
no, I only stayed. That's the only thing. I only stayed in Cartagena because it was a short trip. It was like maybe like a 4 day trip, that
Oh,
we went out there for. Yeah, but I've heard a lot about Medellin. I want to go back and go there, for sure, and Bogota as well. Oop,
hmm,
are you still
yes.
there?
Yeah,
Oh,
yep,
okay.
yep, yep.
Got my
So, is there anything else you want to talk about Colombia before we head to Ghana?
Yeah, let's see what else in Colombia was dope. Oh, we did this tour to the volcanoes. It's got some mud volcano. We did a mud bath, and
Mm,
that was interesting. So it's like it's called what is it called? I always forget the names. It's gonna pop. You realize things pop back in my head. But
yep.
anyway, so it's a volcano. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a real volcano, but it's kind of like a volcano. You walk up, and when you look down, it's just like a mud
Mm-hmm.
tar thing. And you go down into it, and when you go into it, you start floating. Like you cannot it's weird. It's the weirdest thing, and it's really deep. So it's kind of scary when they tell you how deep it is, and you think, okay, I'm gonna like drown, but you cannot sink. And then
Right.
you can get like a mud bath, so they can like rub you down, and it has like therapeutical minerals that's good for your skin. So that was pretty cool. I would definitely recommend that people check that out because it's cool. And then there's also a place nearby that has like pink water, or it's like a pink type of ocean. Ah man, I
Mm-hmm.
wish I remember the name of these places. Crap, what is it called? Again, all of these things are in my highlights. You can go there and check it out. Oh, it's called Volcan de Totum. See,
Mm-hmm.
Volcan de
Good.
Totum.
You're good.
Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling. You're just floating in the mud, and it's awesome. And then the other one is called I'm looking at it right now. What is this? Mar Rosada. Okay, that's it, the pink sea. So the
Yep.
cool thing about the pink sea though, and it's actually
Mm-hmm.
pink, guys, like literally it's
Literally.
pink, literally pink. It's so weird. It's the ocean, but it's the
Yeah.
salt that's in it that makes it so pink. And I'm like, I want to taste it. So I tasted it, and it's super, super, super salty, like so salty. And the crazy thing, my friend actually cut his foot on one of like the rocks, and I was like, well, dip your foot in the water, and he did. And I mean, he was like wincing forever because it was like that salty. But literally, by the time we got home, it stopped bleeding, and it was
Yeah.
like it healed. But yeah, it's so cool. Literally pink sea. I thought it was a dope experience.
Yeah, I heard about that. I seen the picture. So that's where it's at. It's in Cartagena. It's in Colombia. That's where we can
Yeah, it is. It's not in the city though. It's a little ways out. But
a little
if
okay,
you,
okay.
yeah, it's called Mar de Rosado. And if you go
Mar
to the
de
volcano,
Rosado.
the mud bath is Volcan de Totumo.
Okay.
Yeah,
So ladies and gentlemen,
that's
this
cool.
is I don't know if you've seen the pictures of what we're talking about, but when I say the water is literally pink, it's literally pink and real. It's not
Literally
like that
pink.
light pink is not bluish pink, it's pink pink. So
It
that
is.
is real dope.
It is.
Check it out. Matter of fact, Google it. Is Mar de Rosada.
Yes.
So Google it, take it or say Pink Sea. If you can't spell that, just say
Pink Sea.
Pink
Yeah,
Sea in
exactly.
Colombia.
Pink Sea.
I'm sure it'll pop up on Google. So definitely check that out. Colombia is also, you guys, the food. I can go on and on about the
Mm-hmm.
food. So if you guys are
It
foodies
is.
like
It's
myself,
amazing.
hit up
And
Colombia.
nightlife is really good too there. There's all these different clubs and parties. It's just everything. You can't go to Colombia and have a bad time. I don't see how. Street food is
Agree.
awesome. It's just, yeah.
Agree.
It's in my top three favorite countries for sure.
Oh,
Hmm.
nice. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yep, I can
Yep.
see that. And then now,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we are now officially landed in Ghana. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We finally made it. We're off the plane, stretching our legs, ready to hit the ground running.
Yes.
So, Lisa, what is the first
Ghana.
thing that you will recommend while we're here in Ghana?
Ghana. The first thing is
Mhm.
to go get you some jollof rice and
Mm.
spicy chicken.
Cause we hungry.
Because we hungry. You cannot go, and you know what I think is so hilarious about Ghana is when we were there, because I went there for the year of return this past December.
Hmm.
Uh what are we in 2020? Yeah, sorry. 2019. And so I went, and yeah, it's a whole we're gonna go through it. It's a whole experience. But I will say I never had so much rice in my life. Like, jollof rice is a thing. But you if you have Nigerians listening to this podcast, oh, it's probably gonna start a war. Which when I went with a big old group, and there were Nigerians in the group, and it was the funniest thing because Nigerians are like, well, we have the best jollof rice, and Ghanaians are like, we have the best jollof rice, and we did like this cooking class
Oh.
where we made, we actually made jollof rice from scratch.
Mm.
And it was so funny because the Nigerians, I guess they do it different how they make it from how the Ghanaians make it. So it was like this little standoff cook off thing. And then, the people
Yeah.
who aren't from either of those countries had to test it. And it
Yeah.
was just, yeah, it was cool. So that's one experience that I would recommend actually, going to a
Yeah.
cooking class and learning how to make the jollof rice. Like, it's a whole process. And we did it outside, under with using coal sticks or whatever, like
Hmm.
actually lighting the fire and putting the pot on the coal outside. We were in the boiling hot sun though, so that was a little much, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet. Goodness.
but but I mean, hey, that's how they used to probably do it back in the day, so we got the real
Hmm.
experience of it.
Hmm.
um
Hmm.
so yeah, I would say you wanna try that as well. That's definitely one thing. Another thing is, going to Black Star Gate, which is kind of like their independence gate, and you learn a lot about the history, the meaning of the flag, which the Ghanaian flag is red, yellow, and no, not red. Sorry, yeah, red, yellow, black, green. Yeah. So the yellow represents kind of like the culture of Ghana, the rich, like the minerals that they have, the diamonds and all of that. The green is for the rich vegetation, the trees and all of that. The black represents like the people, proud Africans, and then the red is for the blood of the people as well. So it's really cool to go there and learn about the arch and the history of that. And then speaking of the history, you can't go to Ghana and not go to the Cape Coast. So the
Hmm.
Cape Coast, that's like it has the beach, so the beach there is beautiful. But one of the important things of Cape Coast is the castles, the slave
Hmm.
castles. So there's the Elmina Castle, and the Cape Coast Castle. And boy, when I tell you, that experience was just so eye-opening. Like, I mean, I learned a lot, and I went through all kinds of emotions going through those castles, because
Hmm.
you learn the history of it. The Portuguese, they built the castle back in the 1400s, and I think it
Hmm.
started out as like a trading post for for goods and stuff, but then it eventually turned into a slave trade, and it became like a stop on the middle passage. I remember walking through cells where they used to have the slaves in, and to be in a space where your ancestors were held, and
Mm,
to look at that space, and
mhm,
it's dark,
mhm.
there's no ventilation. Sometimes they had these cells that they call the dungeon, where when you go in there, first of all, regular cells are just dark in itself, but these dungeons are literally pitch black, right?
Mm.
And it's like cells like this, like if you do that, you're already touching the walls, right? And they would put the
Wow.
slaves there into these cells, and not give them food or water. And if they that's where they would go if they were trying to punish them. And they would die of starvation or
Mm.
suffocation. And it was just like really sad. And I remember another time too, we walked outside and I saw like a lot of cannonballs on the ground. And the person was like, "Oh, just go pick one up." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I tried to pick it up, and like I thought I threw my back out because it was like so heavy. I was like, "Wait, hold on, you didn't tell me it was gonna be this heavy." And I'm straining to pick the thing up. I picked it up for maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and I had to drop it. And then they told us that that was another form of punishment for the slaves, where if they did anything that they deemed that they needed to be punished for, they would let them go out there and stand in the sun and hold that cannonball. And I'm just
Wow.
like, what? I couldn't even hold it for 2 seconds. And
Mhm.
of course, if they failed, they would punish them even more, throw them in different cells. And it was a lot. It was a lot to see. But and learning about it is just, it's a dark history, the enslavement, and it was quite emotional. It was angering. It was a heartbreaking experience. And then we saw the door of no return, which is where the slaves would leave after being held for however many months. And the ones who survive, that's when they go onto the boats that would take
Mhm.
them into the Atlantic slave trade in the Middle Passage. And we all we know the horrific story of the Middle Passage, and slaves being thrown overboard. They have nowhere to go. They're packed like sardines. If you're going to the toilet, you're going to the toilet right there. So
Mm.
it's really just it's disgusting, really. It makes me
Mhm.
angry. But it also, at the end of that tour, um one of the guys, like, he really gave us like a powerful message of how we have to evolve as a
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
And it's important for us to get this history firsthand, because I remember back in high school, I learned about this. I learned
Mhm.
about it in history books.
Mhm.
And yeah, you read about it and it's like, oh man, that's terrible. But
Mhm.
actually experiencing it and seeing it firsthand, it's a different kind of knowledge, you
Mhm.
know? And that's why the whole year of return back in December 2019 was so important, because it was an initiative by the government to bring people. We need to go back home. We need to
Mhm.
actually relearn the history of our people, of our ancestors. So I know that was kind of heavy, and I'm sorry, but I'm just it's important though to
Mhm.
see that. It really it's
Right.
important to go there and experience that, because that's where we come from. And yeah. But on a lighter note, um if you do go to Ghana, and I mean, now that we're in a pandemic, I don't know if these things are going to be happening anymore. But from I'm just talking about my experience when I went.
Mhm.
I went when it was Afro Nation and
Mm.
Afrochella, and that in itself
Gotcha.
is just a big old celebration of our
Mhm.
culture, our music, our people, our kind of partying. And of course, the
Right.
lineup was sick. Like, there was Burna Boy, Stone Boy, like even Jamaican artists were there. And I was just like, yo, my
Yep.
people are on stage right now in Ghana. And I
Yep.
was like proud to show my flag. and
Dope.
and like the vibes at Afrochella, man. Oh my gosh, it's
Mhm.
insane. And the dancing, and just like the celebration of being at a concert. And every night was a different night of different artists, and that was one of my favorite things. So when we are no longer in a pandemic, and
Mhm.
when things
Mhm.
kind of get back to normal, I don't know, they usually have them Afro Nation over there every year. So I would say that's something to ring in, for
Okay.
sure, for sure. And just partying in Ghana, man, ringing the new year.
Yep. Yep. Crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy. The way they party there, it's different. It's different. And I mean, like, and I remember how I was telling you in Brazil, like, it's the parties go like back to back to back. It's similar to that in Ghana, but I feel
Uh-huh.
like because it was more of my culture and my music and I felt more of a connection. I think I
Hmm.
had more fun, because
Okay.
it honestly Ghana reminds me of Jamaica. Like even in the
Mm.
food itself,
Hmm.
it reminds me a lot of Jamaica. It reminds me of the roads, just
Right.
driving through, seeing the houses, the beach. Like it reminded me a lot. So that's my number one favorite country is actually Ghana. So remember I told you
Right.
I have three.
Yeah.
It's Ghana is number one, and the food, like again, it reminds me of home. I learned how
Uh-huh.
to eat fufu, so that's one thing that I thought was cool, which is fufu is kind of like a soup, or maybe it's like
Uh-huh.
it's gravy, but I think I call it soup. And it has,
Hmm.
meat and dumplings, but you don't eat it with a
Hmm.
spoon. And I made like the arrow, I got it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna. And everyone looks at me like, oh no, honey, you don't eat fufu with a spoon. Like, what are you doing?
Ooh.
You go in there, And I'm like, wait, what?
Ooh.
And yeah, so it's like this
Yeah.
this this gooey type of dumpling, but it's not like a formed dumpling. It's just, I don't know. I call it gooey. I don't know how else to explain it. And you pull it
Interesting.
apart and you
Uh-huh.
dip it in the gravy or the soup itself, and you just it's
Yeah.
messy and you pick the
Yeah.
meat apart, but oh,
Ooh.
it's incredible.
It
It's
sound
good.
like it.
Fufu.
It sound like
Yeah,
well,
man.
see when food, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe it's just me. I could be weird, but when it's messy, it seems like it tastes better or something. I don't know. It's probably some psychological thing I got, but when it's messy, it's like, hey, that's
It's
good. Oh.
yeah, you're like when you start licking your fingers. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
for
I
sure.
know there's a seafood spot. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the boiling crab, but there's other seafood spots they
Uh-huh.
just lay I don't know, a paper, long paper over the table. You have a bib on, and you just go to work
Yeah,
cracking the crab legs and the what is it, the crawfish and everything. So it's real messy, but it just tastes so good. It's like so I know
yeah,
what you mean when it's messy, it just tastes so good.
yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
Yes,
like
for
that. I
sure,
like
for
that a
sure.
lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, do they
I
have
love that.
like a national drink or anything like that? Like whether it's beer or rum or liquor or anything like that that folks should
They
try?
do. Yeah, I tried their local beer. What is it called? It'll come back to me. But they do have a local beer that I was drinking the whole time I was out there. Eh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this.
Go ahead. Go
They have a
ahead.
drink.
Uh-huh.
They have a drink.
Yep.
Again, I don't remember the name, but I probably wouldn't want me to say the name of it anyways. But it's a drink that's made out of weed, and
Ah.
it is how amen, amen.
It's called Amen. 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 Is that what it's
It's
called?
called amen.
Amen. Shoot. Hey, let me get that.
Called
What is
amen.
that? Amen.
Listen, that drink is amen.
Amen. Yeah, I like that. I
All
like
I'll
that a
say,
lot.
amen.
Yeah, I
So if
like that. I'm
you
gonna have to
go
try that.
find a local and ask them for an amen. Ask
Yeah,
them for an
yeah. Bucket
amen.
list. Bucket
Yeah,
list, bucket
yeah,
list.
yeah. But
Now,
yeah, I that's oh, I should talk
uh-huh.
about the give back. So
Oh, please.
when I went, we found it's an orphanage. It's called the Jamie Streetwise Foundation. And this
Hmm.
is obvious. It was in Jamestown, which is one of Accra's like largest slums, and
Hmm.
it's a safe house for children. And they're because these are for kids whose parents aren't really able to provide them with like the basic stuff like like health and education and stuff for them to like literally survive. So the foundation does that. And man, it's such a beautiful place because as soon as you walk in, the kids greet you with like the
Hmm.
biggest smile and the biggest hugs, and their personalities are just over the top, and the laughter, and we were playing with them because they have little things set up outside, which honestly it's the simplest thing. Like it's like a tire, like an actual like truck tire just
Uh-huh.
stuck in the ground, and that's what they're playing. They're jumping through it, they're flicking over the tire,
Yeah.
they're doing tricks for us. And I'm like, yo, y'all are acrobats, y'all are gymnasts
Mm-hmm.
at this point. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
go to my stories, my highlights, and watch these kids, you're
Mm-hmm.
like, they're at what's that girl's name? What's that girl, the gymnast that's really popular in the US? Anyways, they're like
Yeah, I know
at
you're talking
her
about.
level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember her name right now, but I'm like, oh my God. And they're the happiest kids. They're joy, and we played music. We were
Mm-hmm.
in a circle holding hands. They were teaching us like their games. We were clapping, and they would sing, and they would go in the middle and sing a song, and then they come to this person, you have to do something, and then you go in the middle. And ah man,
Mm-hmm.
it was so cool, but like the foundation, like if you're ever there, if you can donate or anything, check it out, Janie Streetwise, because they definitely need the help. And it's incredible what they're doing, and it's all volunteer, that the people that work there, that they're doing for these kids. But it was, and she, the owner of it, or the person who runs it, she was an orphan herself. I think her name's Jade, which is called why it's called Janie. So she, she's giving back. But yeah, we learned a lot. It's a lot of bright youngsters there. And this
Mm-hmm.
one little girl, like, why am I not remembering her name right now? Anyways, I can't recall her name, but she stuck to me like the whole time that I was there. And at the end, when we were all leaving, like she just like gave me the biggest hug. And it's like she didn't even want to let me go. Like it was such a heartwarming, embracing hug. And man, the kids are just incredible. So I think it was one of the coolest experiences to go there and see them, because kids they're our future, and kids have a soft
Mm-hmm.
spot in my heart. And I like to give back. I like to support. And whenever I travel, like I try to find things like this, like whether it's an orphanage or a girls' home, or anything that I can do to just give back to the local community. I think it's important. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's something I would say you should definitely check out. But
Agreed.
yeah, yeah.
Agreed.
And of
Agreed.
course, we talked about food,
Mm-hmm.
which is another thing. The jollof rice I mentioned, and the fufu. Oh, and
Now,
something
what?
called banku. Sorry, go ahead.
Uh-huh. No, 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 no. Go back. Go ahead. Banku. What about it?
Oh, banku is, for for me, what it reminds me of is kind of like bami, but you might not know what bami is. So it's kind of
Mm-mm.
like it's like what do you how you describe banku? Like a dough.
Mm-hmm.
You know cassava?
Mm-mm. New
Not
to
really.
me. New to me.
These are
I'm
all
learning.
like
I'm taking
Caribbean
notes.
things.
I'm like, all right, all right, that's
Oh, which
cool.
is why I'm telling you, the culture reminds me so much of Jamaica, because these
Yeah.
things are things we eat here. So
Right.
it's like a dough,
Uh-huh.
like cassava is like a starch,
Mm-hmm.
and if you think of corn, like it's
Mm-hmm.
fermented, and you I don't know how they cook it, but it's kind of sticky. So it's similar
Mm-hmm.
to that fufu dumpling thing that I mentioned, and you also eat it with your hands and you pick it apart. And I had that with
Mm-hmm.
fish, and
Mm.
it was, yeah, it's like a kind of corn dough, cassava dough type thing with salt and water. It's pretty cool. It was good. It's not potatoes,
Right.
but it's good. Yeah,
So
yeah.
what about I don't know if you can speak for Americans. Do we need visas or vaccinations or anything to go to Ghana?
Yes. So you do need a visa to go
Mm-hmm.
there if you're on a US passport. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican. I don't need a visa to go there.
Right,
Hey,
right,
shout out to my
right.
people.
Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so
Yeah.
what about vaccinations or anything like that?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you definitely need vaccinations. Which one specifically? I had to get the yellow fever. I
Mm-hmm.
had to get a bunch, honestly, and I was a bit annoyed at how many I had to get. I think I spent damn near $500, because some of these vaccinations were
Ooh.
not covered
Oh,
by health insurance, because it's I don't know, whatever, but
right.
look them up. I don't want to tell you which one specifically, because I can't really remember right now, but you definitely need them, and they ask you for them upon arrival at the airport. You have to show them. um so yeah,
Mm,
but it's
mm.
important. I had typhoid was one of them too.
Typhoid. Yeah, yeah.
I think I had to get yellow fever, typhoid, maybe dengue. Like I said, it was a bunch. It was a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's necessary though, because you're traveling to a whole other continent, and the water might not be the safest, especially if you're going to local communities.
Hmm.
There's issues with that in
Hmm.
Africa itself. So you have to be careful. So you have to get vaccinated. Um, but it's expensive. Jesus Lord.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys do your research when it comes to going to Africa and different countries in Africa, because you may need vaccines, and depending on which country you go to, maybe the
Mhm.
continent as a whole. But yeah, definitely do your
I
research.
think different countries have different
Right.
requirements.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
But
depends on wherever you go. So definitely do your research. That is important. And then a visa, you
mhm.
definitely do you know how much it costs for a visa by chance?
Oh, I didn't get one because I
Yeah, you
used
didn't
my
need one.
Jamaican passport. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So
When I found out, I was like, oh, all right, America, I'm gonna put you to the side for a little bit. Pop
ah,
that Jamaican passport out real quick. Yeah.
nice. That is an
Yeah.
advantage. That is an
It's
advantage
it's an
right there.
advantage for sure, for sure.
So
Yeah.
that means you got dual citizenship, right? Is that what that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. See, that's
Yeah.
dope. That's dope. That's on my
Yeah.
bucket list to do something. I don't make. I'll see about Brazil and the U.S., but who knows? Who knows?
You have
Um,
family in Brazil. Like how was your tie to Brazil?
nothing but nothing.
How you gonna get citizenship in
Oh, you
Brazil?
have to. I don't see. I don't know. I don't know. You have to have family. I guess you have to have family somewhere. That's
I mean,
the.
I would assume. That's a good question, but I would think so, unless you would, and everybody would just be able to just go get citizenship somewhere. No,
I don't know. I thought you could work there
I
and be
think
like,
you
you know
had to
what, get a
either like
job, live there. I don't
ah
know. Yeah, I don't
probably
know.
through work. Okay, I
Hmm.
could see that, but that's gonna take some time because you probably have
Yeah.
to work in a certain country for however many years, and if it's anything like the U.S. at least. But I know for the U.S.
Hmm.
you have to work here for like 5 years, and then be a
Oh,
resident for another like 3 years or something before you can apply for citizenship. So that's what,
yeah.
8 years of your life. But
Yeah. You know
it's
what? I don't know if it's
America,
that deep.
But no, but it may not be like
Right.
that. It
Right.
might
We
just be
got different
America.
rules.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. As far as let's see, is there anything that you disliked about Ghana?
Let's see. Disliked. What did I not like? What did I not like? Wow. It's a good question. Hold on.
Yeah, take your time. Sometimes it's nothing that you didn't like. Everything was pretty much on point, or everything was pretty much acceptable. Like, all right, it's not like it was a dislike, but it's all good in the neighborhood. So I don't
Um,
know.
maybe it was crowded.
You looking for something, huh? You like, let me just look for
I know. I'm
something.
like kind of very crowded because it was a lot of people. It was like,
Hmm.
I mean, I went in. It was a year of the return. Everybody and their mama was there. I saw people that I didn't even expect to see there, and I was like, wait, you were here too? What? So it made places
Right.
crowded. Wait time was just stupid long for some places.
Hmm.
Especially if you're trying to go to parties. It was
Hmm.
you probably sometimes you wouldn't even get in unless you knew somebody. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was frustrating. I think that was the only frustrating part about it,
Okay.
honestly.
Now, what about the
Yeah.
language? Is it easy? Is it easy to get around with English, or do you
Oh
need to know
yeah.
some of the language? Do they speak
Oh
English?
yeah.
What's the native?
English.
What do they speak mainly there? That's not English.
They have a bunch of different dialects.
So
It
I've
depends
heard.
on like the tribe that you're from. So there's
Oh,
there's a bunch of different dialects that they speak there. But
okay.
everyone speaks English. Everyone. So you will have zero problems
Okay.
if you go over there at all. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, what
Yeah.
about accommodation? Was you in a hotel, Airbnb, hostel, or how did you travel there?
A villa.
A
So I
villa.
went with a group,
Mm-hmm.
and we were in, oh, that's it. We were in a villa that
Uh-huh.
which was dope,
Uh-huh.
really nice, but it was far. It was
Uh,
maybe an hour from like the city itself where everything was happening. So it was always, to go out there, it takes time. You have to leave extra early. So if you're going, oh, and then at night, it's hard to get back because taxis didn't want to drive so far back out of the town, um, which was frustrating. Like after like Afro Nation, 5, 4 in the morning or whatever, and trying to get a taxi home when you're tired and drunk and just want to go. Gotta wait on a
Mm-hmm.
taxi. It's hard. And I remember one night, oh my God, I thought that was I was yeah, I was nervous. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I lost my friends. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm freaking out. I had to get a taxi by myself. I'm a woman. I'm in, a whole other country. I'm going a whole hour
Mm-hmm.
away. I was like sweating bullets. And I actually I had a friend on the phone though the whole time. I called someone that lived in the US. And I was on the phone with them the whole time. But I mean nothing happened. I got the taxi, and they took me back. But it was a little bit strange because the taxi didn't have gas. He didn't have enough
Lord,
gas.
what you do?
And I had to pay for the gas, which
Oh,
I
and do you?
found weird. I'm like, why the hell am I the one putting gas in your car? Like he made me pay for it. And I was just
uh,
like, but I didn't even argue because I just really just wanted to get home. And then we couldn't find a
right.
gas station that was open.
Oh, damn.
We went to
See,
like
see what I'm.
I kid you not, like 6 or 7 gas stations before we actually found one. And he was running out of gas. Like he was like
Yeah, see.
literally, the car was about to, I was about to be, I'm like, I cannot be left out here in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where I am. And
Right. With this goodness
uh
gracious. Well,
yeah, that
hey,
was
travel stories,
crazy.
you get those travel stories when you travel. So yeah, I got a couple myself. So ladies and gentlemen, we do have to start wrapping things up and catch a flight back home.
uh
But before we do, we're gonna hit the gift shops, get some souvenirs and whatnot. So as we're doing that, Lisa, is there anything else you want to cover about Ghana that we haven't talked about?
um oh, you know what? If you go, you should go to this beach called Cro Cro Crocrobite.
Mm,
Crocrobite Beach. Yeah. It's nothing super fancy, I'll say that first. But why I loved it is
uh-huh.
because it's a local beach. And from the minute
Okay.
you get on the beach, you'll see like, the locals, like they're fishing. Actually, when I went there, they had just caught they had like a net, and they had all this fish. They were scaling them right there. A fire
Hmm.
was going, and the women were cooking, and people were selling.
Hmm.
There was a group playing the drums, and I don't know what they call their instruments, but they had all these different instruments, and they were dancing. And they called me to dance with them. I was dancing with them, and they were teaching you the local dances. And it was just, it's a fun day. They were playing, games. And I think the group that I went with, we ended up having like a an Olympic day, like a sports day. So we were
Hmm.
playing like relay and egg and spoon, and like tug of war and sack races. And then the locals came and joined in. And man, it was fun. So I love that beach because of the such a local vibe. It's not touristy at all, but it's
Hmm.
fun. So I would definitely recommend that as well if you go there.
Beautiful. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got a
Yay.
lot of stuff. We have to head back home now, catch this flight. And hopefully, you guys got a lot of good knowledge about Ghana, what to do, what to see, what to experience, what the food was like. So it's just history and culture. It's just
Mhm.
so much to do in Ghana. So make sure you guys put that on your bucket list if it's not already, and if it is, move it up on the list. All right. So on the way back home, Lisa, we have one last segment. It is called the lightning round. So I'm going to ask you
Oh,
a list of questions and you are to
okay.
answer them as quickly as possible. So quick, 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 quick. Sense of urgency. Speed is our friend.
All right, I'll
So,
try.
and to make it even more interesting, you can only use one word answers. So no
Oh,
sentences, no, yeah,
great.
no backstories. Yep, short and sweet. We'll make it work. And
All
then let
right,
me
let's do
see
it.
here. Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, question number one: what is your favorite airline?
Delta.
What is your favorite hotel?
I don't have one.
What is your favorite cruise line?
Ah, Royal Caribbean.
What is your favorite state?
Florida.
What is your favorite country?
Ghana.
What is your favorite hotel booking site?
Jamaicans don't kill me, by the way. I love Jamaica. Sorry. What's the next question?
What is your favorite hotel booking site?
Expedia.
What is your favorite flight booking site or app?
Skyscanner.
Nice. What is one thing that Lisa must bring on all of her trips?
My cell phone.
Where do you want to go next?
Wait, can I ask a question? I
Nope.
suck at this
Nope.
bullet round.
Yep. No. Where do you want to go next?
Australia.
Uh, what other state would you live in?
Terrible. California.
What other country would you live in?
Let's go with Ghana.
Let's go with Ghana. Last question. What is your favorite travel podcast?
Global Travel Podcast.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Great. Great. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, Lisa. Much appreciated. You showed a lot of great info. So thank you. Thank you. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching our home airport. So I need you guys back into your seats, buckle up, trays up, and the seats in the upright position. But before we land, Lisa, if you can do us one last favor and give us one last piece of travel advice that you will give out, what would that be?
Do your research before you go to any country, and that is to research their laws, because you could do the simplest thing that you think is not a big deal, and bam, you end up in jail. I
Mm.
always do that kind of research, because trust me, that's like my biggest fear: getting arrested abroad, getting locked up abroad. I've never experienced it, and I don't want to. So
Yeah.
always do your research. And that's as far as also things to do, you know. I mean, if you want to be spontaneous, hey, be spontaneous, but at least know the rules and regulations of a country, dress code, violations, driving a car, drinking, smoking, like anything you want to know those things.
hmm
That's my advice.
Well said. Well said. Hope y'all paying attention. You don't want to be locked up abroad. I seen the show. You don't. I don't think it's not sexy. So,
Right?
ladies and gentlemen, we are now safely landed. So you can unbuckle your seatbelts, grab your belongings, and exit the cabin. So, with that being said, thank you for flying here with us at the Global Travel Podcast, and see you guys on our next trip. If you would like to be a guest on our show and tell us about your travel experiences, then leave us a comment in the comment section below so we can reach out to you. Also, if you have any countries, states, or cities that you'd like us to review, please let us know so we can plan a trip there. Lastly, if you got some good value today and liked our podcast, please hit the like button and click subscribe so you can travel with us again next time. So subscribe right now because you don't want to miss the next trip. With that being said, over and out.